Hey guys, welcome back to another Fabrication Basics video. My name is Gary, and this week, or on this video, we're going to talk a little bit about and give you some tips of things that to look out for when you're bending sheet metal on a metal brake, or just bending it with any traditional methods that you would use, with a vise or however you're trying to do it. One of the things that's happened here is I've got a junior fabricator working for me now. And I can kind of see what he struggles with, and it may present things that you may run into at home as well. For you guys out there that are experienced fabricators, I appreciate you watching. Anything you'd like to add to the video, certainly leave a comment. Would love to hear what you have to say. So I'm gonna just walk you through a few things. Recently used this brake to bend up a pretty complicated panel with several bends in different directions and all. So let's just get started. All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is the method used to measure and mark your bend line that you want to use to slide under the clamp bar to actually bend from. And we're going to measure 1 inch in from each end of this little flat stock using two different methods, and then we'll take a look at how accurate that is after the fact. Now, one of the common ways that a lot of people will mark and measure with is just a standard tape measure. So that's, we can see 1 inch there. We're going to come in and use a Sharpie. And we're going to mark that. We'll mark that straight across here using a square. Alright, and then I'm going to take you see me using these a lot in videos. I'm going to take my calipers and set these at 1 inch. And I'm just going to scribe just a tiny little mark here, a little witness mark. And then I'm going to use a scribe to I don't know if that's showing up on camera. Hopefully it is. Okay, so now the one thing you'll notice, and this is a pretty new Sharpie here with a pretty good point on it, and as you know, after a while the point on the Sharpie gets wider and wider, making it more and more difficult to get an accurate marking. All right, you see that we got 1 inch measured there, and we got a pretty good mark on our 1 inch line there to bend from. All right, so now I'm going to take this and put it on the other end, and look at that, it's not even anywhere close. It's not even on the line. And then the other part of it is the line itself is is about 330 seconds wide. We'll just try to get these on there and take a look. 66 thousandths wide, so roughly about a 1/16 of an inch. So again, you can get a super accurate measurement and line drawn by using calipers and a scribe. And so we'll go over to the brake now and show where that comes into play. A bend is a bend is a bend, right? So just stick the metal in, pull the bar down, pull it up, and you get a bend. Well, it's not exactly like that. It seems like it would be, but it's really not. And the radius of the bend, and how tight and sharp the bend is, there's a few factors and a few setup parameters on the machine, not many, just a couple actually, that determine the sharpness of a bend. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in tight, and we're going to bend a couple pieces here and show you the difference. All right, hopefully this is going to come into to view here, and you can actually see the scribe line pretty well. So you can see, as we get this lined up at the edge of our clamp bar here on the brake, and get that lined up perfectly with that edge. Okay, very, very precise. And likewise, if you tried to put this end in, where is it? you know, which part of the line do you put it on? Do you put it on the beginning edge? Do you put it somewhere in the middle? Do you put it, you know, where it's all the way in? You know, I mean, and again, this is a 1/16 of an inch wide, so your variance could vary as much as a 1/16 of an inch versus a very pinpoint line that you've got, you know, that you can line up perfectly with the edge. All right, I'm going to show another quick tip that I use often as well. So I've got this little Stanzinkowski Z-square, and it's a good reference point. You know, once you get your line drawn, you know, maybe you made an error in the way you drew your line or whatever, but you're really trying to get a straight setup here, is to get this square against the clamp bar and square up against your part. Now you know you've got it in there square. So always use a square to kind of double check both sides. You can see it's square on that side and that side. Alright, so earlier we were messing around with this little 1/8 inch flat bar here, so I'm going to bend that. This brake is rated to bend 12 gauge at its thickest, and 1/8 inches 11 gauge, but a little short panel like this clamped to the edge, it seems to handle it no problem. So we're going to get it clamped in, and we'll just raise this up and put a little bend on it. Up the rest of the way, just try to get a, you know, a 90-degree bend in it. Let's go a little bit further. So you can kind of see really a super tight bend in that, and you know, we probably overbent it a little past 90 degrees there, but you can see what a really tight bend. All right, so this is 16 gauge material here, and we're going to bend it in the same spot with the same setup. And you would think that it being thinner, we should actually be able to get a tighter bend on it. Okay, so we're going to just stick it in, and I'll move the camera back down so you can see this. Get this up at 90 degrees as well. Notice first of all, it bends a lot easier. A little bit further. If you notice on the back of it, you know how much of a radius that has on that bend, and even from the side angle there, side profile, the 1/8 inch piece actually has a sharper 90 to it than the thinner piece. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to take my iPhone and just kind of walk around and show you this because it'll show up better on camera. Two different settings that your most brakes would come with that would allow you to change that. All right, so I just wanted to show you this real quick. The two adjustments that you use that determines how tight the radius is on the bend are this adjustment here, which you've got a nut down there on some threads that you can loosen and tighten, and it allows this bar to clamp down either more loose or tighter depending on how you have that adjusted. So if you have thinner material, you want to have that adjusted down so you get a tighter clamp on it, and that affects, you know, how tightly this is held in here, which has a factor on how tight the radius is. All right, the other setting is this knob back here on the back that you can see, and this is called the Setback Adjustment. And when you turn that in either direction, it adjusts how far the clamp bar is from the actual bending wing as it comes up. So I'm gonna make an adjustment back here and hold the camera down so you can see this moving. You can see that moving back there. Move it back, it's going to allow a really loose radius when you bend it, and if you push it up, you get a tighter radius. So depending on the thickness of the material, depending on what kind of bend you're trying to make, those are the two main adjustments that you have on this brake. All right, the last thing I wanted to just point out real quick, and then we'll end this video, is when you have kind of a complex set of bends to do, you really have to think through the order in which you're going to do the bends, because you can kind of back yourself into a corner and get yourself to a position where a bend that you'd like to make you can't actually get to. Let's just say that, you know, on this panel, for example, we bent this and that, and then we wanted to bend, make this bend here, okay, or this bend. So, you know, regardless of how you try to put it in there, there's no good, you know, flat clamping area that you can get to without distorting another area. So if I tried to get this in there like that, I don't know if that's picking up, but you can't actually get it all the way in there because the width of this is not enough. And what I did on this panel that I think is, you know, probably one of the keys is you want to start with your largest surface first and work your way out this way. So as you get to the edge, and this is the last bend I made on this side of the panel, you know, and so I could easily get that in there and bend up that one, you know, piece without having to worry about all these other bends out here and whether they're getting unbent by doing this. So, okay guys, that's it. Another Fabrication Basics video. Hopefully these videos are of value to you. Usually when I'm, you know, doing a project, I'm thinking, you know, kind of running through it very quickly. But I want to, you know, occasionally take time out to show these. And these videos, for some reason, are actually more popular than the actual video of the project itself, like the video where I made this. And if you didn't see this video, and this is sometime in the future, I'm going to put a link to the video where we bent up this cold air intake panel. So, okay guys, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.